I've been looking forward to this one. I've been left on red for months on your LinkedIn, and I see that you've read it, and I've just keep chasing you. And the reason why I've been chasing is because personally, I think a lot of our viewers as well, what people love in this day and age is people that had nothing and then made something. That is the most beautiful story that a lot of people love to hear. Because there's a lot of, people out there that, get golden spoon in their mouths and they grow up and then people are like, oh, wow, I want to be like that. But I think the most awesome stories out there is when people make it, and you're one of those people. I've been following you for years, and it's an incredible story. And one thing, and I want to unpack that. I think we want to unpack that and share and how you made it, right? Someone from Afghanistan that, you're living in a 2-bedroom home with 14 people. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. Is it true?
Yeah.
It's true. And then you went to Pakistan, to his homeland. You didn't get treated well there. And then you tried coming to Australia. You eventually came to Australia. So we want to unpack all that. Talk to us, Baby Zed, right? Who was Baby Zed and all the struggles you went through to come to Australia. And then we'll unpack the story of Australia.
You're making me sound so evil. You're very hard to get a hold of. Did you have my number? You should have just picked up the phone and called me. I'm very old style, Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, Mazhar. I appreciate it. Yeah, let's go back to my childhood. Yep. I was a baby when we migrated to Pakistan. And just like a lot of immigrants, I think when you do leave your own country, you go through, a hard process of being, learning a different language and, learning the whole new society to finding out who the people are and blah, blah, blah. I was still a baby back then though. But look, I'm usually not one to generalize about a country, because if somebody does, something bad, I can't generalize. If you do something bad to me, I can't generalize about him, blah, blah, blah. The who knows how much pressure there was there. But yeah, I had a tough upbringing. I really had a tough upbringing. And you're right, there was 14 of us living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and we used to share one. And I never saw a proper shower till the age of like 12 when I first came to Australia. And we used to have a little bucket and we pour, that was our shower. And if we wanted like water slides, we'd just like slide on the concrete floors. And then I remember my brother actually ripped his forehead by doing that, because he fell on his head. And to us, that was just fun because we didn't know any difference.
Does he have a scar there?
He's actually got a scar there, and he's got a scar right here.
Oh, okay.
From that, yeah. So there's my childhood. It was all fun and games.
I think the best childhood is when there's like a scar involved. I think that's when you had a really, really good childhood.
Exactly. I'm really loving these Iron Man look today, Ali.
You like it?
This is cool, man.
I tell people it's because there's too much light.
Their future is very bright.
Which is a lie. You've got no issue about that. So you escape the Taliban, you go to Pakistan, from Pakistan migrate to Australia. How is it trying to fit in as an Afghani kid in this country? Because Australia can be a tough place to fit into when you're not from the mold, so to speak. What were some of those challenges?
I think when I was in high school, there was a lot of... I got bullied a lot because I don't know how to speak English. Mm-hmm. And all I knew was, hi, how are you, how much, and I love you, and you're beautiful. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
And to try and fit into the... I guess it was really an eye-opener, because back overseas, we used to have like 14, 15 subjects. And there was that many subjects. And when I came over here, I would have to say that it was a lot more chilled inside a classroom. Like, you could fall asleep on a desk and the teacher wouldn't even do nothing, Back overseas, if you didn't do your homework, the teachers are like they're like pretty much your parents.
Yeah.
Like, you get smacked, they bring out the massive ruler, hit you in the head, hit you in the face, because apparently back overseas, teachers are meant to be like your parents, and they've got that entitlement, they've got that power to pretty much do whatever they want with your kid, which I think is wrong anyways, because you shouldn't have to get forced to study.
True.
But I guess that's just the environment that was. But fitting in, did I fit in perfect? Back, I started in Dandenong High School. I was fortunate enough that there was more migrants in that area, in that school. And then up to year 10, 11, there was more migrants coming up. So I felt very welcome.
Yeah.
I felt very welcome. But it was hard, just like anything. If you don't know the language, to try and fit in, it's a bit hard. Yeah.
At what point did you pick up the language? did you start becoming more proficient?
Well, I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
I got bullied a lot. You know, I didn't know what bullying was. I mean, to us, getting bullied was like probably like getting, you know, I mean, I thought if you got stabbed, that was more bullying because that was sort of the norm overseas, you know. Then coming here, just like picking out kids' names here and there, yeah, that's pretty normal. I did make a complaint because there was this big, tall Serbian guy. You know, I'm not going to mention his name because he would most likely watch it. We're friends now. He used to bully a lot of kids, and you know, and I didn't know if that was bullying. And then my brother grabbed him by the neck one day. He goes, "If you ever get close to my brother ever again, I'll actually stab you."
Wow.
And it's good. I mean, I come from you know.
Did it work?
It worked, man. That guy never came anywhere close to me, and he used to like even shout me potato cakes and all that after. So yeah, well, you got to teach these kids to listen. And I think it's important to stand up for yourself when you're in high school, primary school. Otherwise, you just get bullied.
Yeah,
so yeah, that's my story.
So going through your childhood, what was the long-term plan? What was the ambition going forward?
I have to be honest that being a child and still in my high school years, just like most kids out there, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew that the background that I had come from, my parents were like, you either become a doctor, engineer, or accountant. If you're an accountant, you failed in life. And look at all your cousins, because there's so much pressure being a Middle Eastern kid or European kid. You got to be a doctor, you got to be an engineer, because there's a shortage of, and I understand now when I look back why there was a high demand for doctors, because every single person in Afghanistan had a leg broken or a teeth missing or a hand missing. You know,
Why is that?
so why the country's been at war for 52 years non-stop.
Right.
So then there's a high demand for doctors. So if you're a doctor, you're better than everybody else out there. So then, but if you're a businessman, you're actually a businessman. In fact, builders to date right now in Afghanistan have no good name, but they probably make 10 times more money than, you know, what a doctor would do or anyone else would do.
Okay.
So is that the question you said? I kind of got sidetracked.
Around about
Yeah.
But I was just asking, like, at what point did you realize that, look, this is what your true profession became down the track? Did it actually click to you and say, look, you know what, this is what I want to do?
I was always a salesman, Mazar.
Yeah.
I was always a salesman.
Every salesman has a story, though, right?
Yeah.
Because most of them start young. They'll sell, I don't know,
A little side hustle.
selling games or something. What was your side hustle when you were growing up?
When I came to Australia, I started selling hot dogs at the age of 14 outside nightclubs in Melbourne, and then I realised all I had to do was ask the question to just sell them anything. And people in Australia, they're a lot more. They've got that shell. They're in their comfort zone. And being an Afghan kid, I'm like, geez, all I have to do is just ask a question. I get rewarded for it. Yeah. Why not? So then I found the power of upselling, soft selling, and then my brother taught me that. He goes, all you have to do is, mate, if you don't ask the question, you never know, and just act like you're a little kid and ask for a tip. And if you don't ask for it, you just never got it. So then I was meant to sell those hot dogs for $4. I ended up selling for $20, $30, and then I ended up getting like tips, for one hot dog. And then I'll upsell them, like, I'll give you some mustard, which came with it anyways, or some cheese or a can of Coke, blah blah. But yeah, the power of asking the question is what I learned at the age of 14. And because of the experience and the poverty that I have been brought up in, that's what made me drive. That's what that driver is the question. And then I really wanted to ask as many questions as I could to every single random person so I can send some money overseas back at home to my cousins. I have 28 guy cousins. Wow. So that was my motive. That was my, purpose. And that was my driver back at home, my family, because we're a lot more close to my cousins and all that. And when we came here, we had no family here, besides me and my brothers. Yeah.
So hot dogs, why hot dogs?
I fell into it. I fell into selling hot dogs illegally, outside nightclubs in Melbourne, and then I thought it was the norm. And the guy that gave me that opportunity, which I'm so grateful for, he was just selling hot dogs illegally too. We would put a hot dog stand outside clubs. And, if the coppers will come up to you and say, where's your permit, where's your license? I'm like, my name's John. To try and avoid paying a fine. But the cops were nice too, They felt that they would feel sorry for it. You're humans, So they never gave us fines. I mean, how could they give you a fine if you fake a name, yeah?
So you're hustling hot dogs.
Yeah.
Upselling mustard. Great upselling strategy. and then here you are in the real estate. So how did that journey from hot dog as a kid end up in real estate?
I got into business and marketing straight after high school. I got 28 in my radar in my interscore, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
28.
28 out of 100, yeah. I didn't get into anything besides business, so I kind of fell into it, yeah. But I was always intrigued about business. I'm like, what do these entrepreneurs and businesses do, and how do you even build a business? So why don't I self-educate myself?
Right.
So now I got into business management, and I loved it. And then there was one quote, and what one of my lecturers said, your network is as big as your net worth, and your net worth is as big as your network. And son, you're going to be unstoppable. And he gave me a funny quote, which I'll never forget. You rip them off and piss them off, they will always come back to you because you've done something right. I go, all right now. So I'll never forget that. But he said, there were so many things that I enjoyed about business. And I did an advanced diploma of marketing and business straight after high school because that's not the only option I had. And straight after that, I fell into real estate. That was my first official job at real estate. I was working at Telstra part-time. I asked a question to a real estate agent that came in complaining. From a complaint, I turned into a sale. She's like, you got yourself a job. And then I hired that person that gave me a job only recently.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You're best
10 years
friends with
later.
the Serb now.
Huh?
The Serbian that
Yep.
was on the brink of
I'm
crashing
good friends
you.
with him, yeah.
You hired this girl. So your whole life is just connecting all together.
Yeah.
That's insane.
What you put out's what you get in the world, man.
But
So-
you mentioned marketing. And
I'm
you-
always branding. See,
Yeah, branding, 100%.
like, I've got my Z top on right now. I'm
Yeah.
branding. I'm at the gym. It's always Z Real Estate. I have Z Real Estate watches. Everything's about personal branding to me. I have these ripped jeans. If I could put a Z on my knee, I'll probably put a Z on my knee.
Because marketing, because I take care of the marketing of the group, and you've aced personal branding, and the way you do it is very, very impressive. Some people might think it's a bit arrogant. I think when you go to personal branding, a lot of people do think it's a bit arrogant because it's always about yourself, right? And personal branding is that, but I see it as confidence rather than arrogance, and there's that fine line there. When did you figure out that I'm going to invest in my personal brand? Were you inspired by someone? Did you see something like, okay, I want to drive for that? Or was it like, you know what, I'm just going to try my luck and see what happens?
There's a difference between being arrogant and being confident, Ali. Arrogance is walking into a room saying that you're better than everybody else. And I never compare myself to anybody else out there because there's enough food for, everybody out there. There's enough business for people out there. Confidence is saying, I'm not going to compare myself to yourself. I'm just going to do me. I'm going to live my life as long as I bring in no harm and I just bring in value to the marketplace. That's all I care about. Like my social media, if you look at my social media, everything's all money. Everything is all about cars and luxury homes and all that stuff because that's the people I deal with. That's not me. I would have to say my social media is personally, it's not about yourself. If I put myself the honest, humble, person out there, I don't think I'm going to get many likes, am I?
100%.
I'm just going to put in my kids. Like, how many times do you want my kids? Not that I have any kids, not that I know of. You're looking at me. That's why I gave you that answer. So, look, personal branding, like, I just do it. I mean, we sat down, me and my brothers, before we started Zed. Like, before I started Zed, I used to have, like, chocolates with my face on it that opened for inspections when I used to work at LG Hooker, because that's where, I did really well at Hookers in LG. Just let me, rephrase. LG Hooker, not Hookers, in Hampton Park, and...
Big difference.
Yeah. And, I put, whatever that came into my mind, I put my face on it. Water bottles, the team will come up to me saying, can we do this? I'm like, do it. As long as it's got my face on it, can we put cake in people's like settlement date? Put it.
Yeah.
Should we hand out plasma TVs with your name underneath it and its logo? Done. Put it. Like I'm always like I've always been branding myself like that.
But are you worried that the Zed real estate is too dependent on your brand?
No, it's actually not dependent. I'm at a level like I can just leave now and the company's up and running now because I'm very fortunate that it's me and my brothers now because I work with my family. There's 4 founders, including myself. We all have like equal shares to the business. Like right now, we're going to Gold Coast. I'm opening up my second office, and I don't have to be in Melbourne right now. I literally don't even have to be in Melbourne right now because the business is set up. The brand is built, and like we came up with Zold one night. Me and my brothers were sat down and said, "All right, it's a Z. It's a very attractive name. Like if I was, let's just say for example, like how do you think Apple came into this world? It's meant to be IT, yeah. Do you know the story behind it? Like Steve Jobs paid so much money to these people out there to create these logos and branding, blah, blah, blah. But one day he was in the backseat of his car. He had a bite of an apple with his driver. He said, you know what? This is fresh. Let's just name the company Apple. So people spend hours and days and months thinking about brand names and blah, blah. Like, they forget that the brand name doesn't even have to be anything. It's you first. Like, I could sit down and think about a brand name for hours and hours and hours. It doesn't mean nothing. It's the person that's representing that brand. So people always invest in businesses, but they forget that, no, you invest in people. And once you look after people, people are going to look after business. So then I did the same thing. I said, all right, stuff it. Zold it is one night.
Who came up with Zold?
Yeah.
Who came up? I did and my brother did.
Right.
Zold, done. All right, what else can we get? All right, Zell, done. Put a Z in front of everything. So, like, it's become a brand now, you know? And it was the word of the town before you even know it. I'm like, wow, that was so smart. And then in business, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. So then I was, I live my life like that.
Oh, it's very powerful. On the topic of sales and marketing, something that we debate a lot internally.
Yeah, this bothers me a lot.
He's a marketing guy, but the way I look at it, and I'm interested to get your perspective on this, it's almost like in a soccer team, for example, you have your playmakers, your defenders and midfielders, and the strikers. Okay, your salespeople are your strikers. They're the ones who kick the goals, they hit the targets, the KPIs, they get celebrated as being the big winners. But they're only able to do what they do because so many other people, marketing people, set the play up for them to close. In your business and from your perspective, which one do you give more importance to? Does the marketing drive the sales, or the sales drives the marketing? Which one would you prioritize more?
I don't play soccer, bro. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
Whichever one.
Look, let's use my company for example. Okay, more salespeople turn into directors, and the whole business just falls apart. Okay, because salespeople cannot do back-end foundation work. They're meant to be out on the road. And the reason why they're on the road, because the foundations are strong. The marketing department brings out the leads to provide that help and support the operations for the salespeople so they can close more deals. It's the salespeople that brings in the dollars. But without those foundations, like the marketing and the operations people, those people would not have been able to be able to succeed in that business. I'm only succeeding in my business because I've got the operation system and the foundation is so bloody strong that even if you point out fingers, my brother will sue your ass. Because you've got people that are formally educated. So in business, like, we evaluated it and we said, all right, you've got your strengths here, you've got your strengths here, and your strength is right here. Why don't we put in these two strengths, like, which is myself and my brother, out on the road, and then the back end we need to make sure. So all I do is I don't even lift a finger when in terms of marketing and branding and operations, because I've got the right people covering me. So to answer your question, their board is very important. Yeah. The salespeople are meant to be on the road. They're not meant to be in the office. So all they need to do is just close. Bam. Always, be closing. I go, in today's marketplace, always be educating. Be that source of person that people can see that they should go to you in terms of value. So then they're both as important as each other.
Yeah.
I feel like marketing is more important though.
He's got a
Because
personal
right now
bias.
you are a marketing machine though.
Yeah.
For your personal brand.
Whatever I invest money, like, for example, I just released this video for our Gold Coast. I've already spent $5,000.
Right.
In like less than 5 hours.
Yeah.
Less than 24 hours.
It's marketing.
So whatever money I make, I invest back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about growing that
Even
business.
Apple, like talking about Apple, like they invest billions in marketing.
Yeah.
It's the world's a marketing machine.
I caught up with an architect and I got asked with a recent interview I did. He said, "Who's your mentor? Who do you go to?" I said, "Mainly my clients."
Yeah.
I go to my clients because some of the clients I deal with are CEOs of their own companies, and like I'm talking CEO of Coles, Aldi's, Kogan's, and blah blah. So then I asked them the same question, and they one of them said something very smart to me, which I'll never forget. He said, "Success is the continuation of success." You can have success in one specific field, but it doesn't mean that you won't continue it. So it's the continuation of that. Let's just say you've completed a project and you've had a successful project sell out. The next project, you know what I mean? It's like releasing a good movie and then followed by a bad. So then it's the continuation. You know what I mean? Like I just watched Black Adam, Dwayne Johnson's movie. I fell asleep. I was devastated. You know what I mean? I expect that.
Yeah.
So staying on top, is the hardest thing. And that's what I learned from one of my architect friends.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So yeah.
A lot of your business strategy is about being disruptive. You know, you've gone on record a lot of times saying, "Look, I'm disruptive to the market." 2 questions. Number one, what is it that you feel that you're disrupting? And number 2, how do you ensure that you are disruptive enough that other people don't simply come and copy you? Because, like, yes, you said success breeds success and all that type of stuff, but success also creates a lot of imitators as well. When they see someone who has a formula for success, they say, well, you know what? If he can do that, I can do that. If he's spending X amount of money on branding, marketing, advertising, blah, 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 I'll try to replicate that. I may not get to that same level, but I'll get close enough to it. So from your perspective, how do you manage that strategy?
I have no issues with people copying my work. In fact, I pump out content so then at least they can learn. But they can never learn my style because I'm unique the way I am. And out of 8 billion people, I feel like that is my point of difference. There's only one person that looks like me. There's only one person that looks like you. There's only one person. So when people ask me what's your biggest point of difference, I go, there's only one person that looks like me. I am the biggest point of difference. So how can your opinion, be relevant to you guys? So then I always tell people, I go, copy, no problems at all. I'll provide you with the structure, but put your own style into it and be authentic about your approach and you will kill it. I have no issues. I worked for some assholes previously to Zed Real Estate, and I have no issues with saying that because people are always money driven, these directors, and they always told me not to share my style, my knowledge to other people because then they will learn. And I'm always about sharing that, yeah, because I'm like, I got to leave something behind. I think the more you give, the more you receive in life, and I feel really good when I've helped out somebody in need. So if they're copying my work, I'm all about that. Let's do it. Give me a call. I'm on your phone call away. Let me help you at least copy it the right way. No problems at all.
The competition doesn't annoy you?
Nah, I love competition. What's life without competition? Bring on competition. I love competing. But I'm not competing with them. Like, our brand is so different to 99.9% of other agencies. I can't, I was speaking to the client today. He's like, you haven't sold a property in Q. I go, why do you want me to sell a property in Q? I said, my vision's bigger than Q. I said, your house is worth $10 million. I'm trying to aim at $1 billion. I said, why do you want me to come out there and call myself a local Q agent? I said, my knowledge and area of expertise doesn't stop in Q.
I said
that to her. I said,
that's solid.
I always said that. And I always said, I go, hold on. Are you hiring me because you want me to be a local Q agent? Are you hiring me because you need a salesman, you need a marketer, you need a negotiator? And I told her, I go, rule number 1 of negotiation, I don't negotiate. And rule number 2, I don't negotiate with myself. And rule number 3, I come back to rule number 1. I'm not here to negotiate with you. This is simply business.
So what happened to that one?
Man, I'm a closer. I close.
So you got
I do not walk. Well, that was only a phone conversation.
Right.
But I'll close the deal, yeah.
Right.
I'll send you a message once I get it. In the new year.
On LinkedIn?
This is me on holiday mode, yeah?
Yeah. Nice, relax.
But I walk into close.
Yeah.
I don't walk in to just have a conversation. I walk in, I do my full due diligence. Before I meet up with anybody, I like to do my research. I stalk their kids. I stalk the whole family. Because obviously the, $4 million price caliber, you need to be one step ahead of your competition. So, yeah, that's it.
It's all about preparation, research, knowing who your clientele are.
I live by 6 P's in my life. I like to plan for my life. I like to plan for 2023. Then I like to prepare myself. Then I practice every single script and preach whatever I've done. I look back. I got to look at what's worked, what hasn't worked, and straight after that, like, what am I doing? I'm performing with you guys right now. If I perform well, people are going to produce money to you guys. And then after that, I celebrate my wins. Party, plan, prepare, practice, perform, produce, bam, party. Upstairs, let's go.
But you could be so confident because you do have a powerful brand, right? Let's say someone doesn't have the brand Zed has. Can they go in that confident to that person and be like, mate, I'm not negotiating?
100%. If you truly value yourself, because see what I've always believed that Zed was a beginner once, and I look at every single person out there as a blank check in their forehead. So if somebody walks past me, that's how I created the brand. That's how I built the brand. I go, you looking at selling, buying? Do you need finance? All right, done. I'm Zed from Hijaz Finance. If you need finance, let me know. I'll help you out. Bam, what's your LinkedIn? Dan. All right, what's your Instagram? I'll engage with you. Even if I hate you, I'll still like your stuff and I'll still send you birthday messages because it's not about, who you know, it's about who knows you. Bam. And you'd always want to be in front of people 24 hours a day. So Zed got created because you spoke to minimum 40 randoms a day on the streets. So if I was that newbie out there, mate, people love the grind. People love the hustle. If a Zed 23-year-old comes up to me today saying, man, I would love to sell you this, I'm like, all right, done. I'll give you an opportunity. You got 5 minutes to impress me. Bam. All right, then at least I can give them that advice. Successful people are the most humble people and most nicest people out there because they're there. They've actually understood and they've gone through the grind. And if they're arrogant, I put them back in their spot.
That's why I said at the start, the people that's made it from nothing, they are much more humble than the golden spoon people. That's why I really wanted to understand your story.
Bro, I'm not a religious person myself, okay? But one thing I have learned is that you should always be humble because I could have a sip of the water in the next 45 minutes. I don't even know where I'm going to be. So doesn't that scare you sometimes? Like, wow, I don't know where I'll be in the next 1 hour.
Yeah.
You know, always be humble. We're not better than everybody else out there.
Yeah.
And people forget that. If they forget that, well, I'll give them a good lesson.
Do you give credit to your upbringing for this?
I 100% give
Your
credit to my parents.
Yeah.
1 million% because my dad is such a hard-working person out there. He's got good life ethics, work ethics, and disciplines. Like, he's 74 years old, and he still wants to work out there. And he's always said, whatever money you earn, always earn it the right way, the halal way. Don't chase money, chase your passion. That's okay. Treat everybody else out there as if you want to be treated. Exact same way. Don't chase money. Don't never do anything wrong, and be grateful. Like, I walk out of the door, and he goes, have you done your prayers? Say Bismillah when you walk out of the door. You know? And that's it. That controls the whole spirit of my day.
Simple, strong message.
That's it.
Yeah.
Gratitude's a big thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I preach to my team. Always be grateful,
Yeah.
but never content. Always keep hustling, but always be grateful.
100%.
It's very important. You have a unique style about you and your approach, perspective, clients and customers and business and whatnot. Do you feel that some of these people become disenfranchised by the fact that you're pretty full on, okay, and you live life at a very full on level and whatnot, that in particularly your more sort of, let's say, pretentious suburbs and pretentious people, that they're sort of like, you rub them the wrong way, they're sort of like, I need someone more conservative, I need someone who's a bit more balanced to give me a more balanced advice. Zed's a bit he's too rough, and he's
The fancy videos.
he's too fancy, he's too full on for my liking. Do you find you'll lose that clientele, or do you not care about losing that clientele?
If I say I don't care, I'm lying.
Yeah.
I do care about every single person out there. But I put myself in their shoes. I'm a fucking salesman. I am a salesman, man. You walk into a house, you're trying to sell something, you don't expect to have a salesman to sell it to you? What do you want? You have a really nice property, and our company has sold a lot of homes in this area. Our company provides one of the best finances out there. In fact, this finance world here will offer you this much. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this is what people are, yeah? People forget that they need to be themselves. When you're dealing with a salesman, you got to act like a salesman, you got to talk like a salesman. If I had a $20 million home, I would not give it to somebody that drives a Toyota Corolla. Because human beings, we say we don't judge people, we get judged 24/7. 99.9% we get judged. Right now I'm getting judged. People are watching, they're judging. Whether they love me, they don't love me, that's up to them. But we judge people on the basis of how they look. They always say, don't judge a book by its cover. We always do. I judge someone on the basis of how they look. Yeah, judge me, but not unless you've actually met them. Don't judge them. Go out there, get to know my story. Why am I driving a Lambo today? Why? Because I want that. What else do you want me to drive? Yeah, I wanted it. I put a goal in. Am I living my life for you? Am I living life for myself? If I'm going to die tomorrow, people are happy that I have problems. Like, the amount of times I get bombarded with, negative energy and all that. And in fact, we're just going through it before, the blah, 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 blah. I said, thank God they're talking about me because I'm doing something. Like, if this client doesn't feel comfortable, go give it to a 60-year-old that's going to cost them money. I'm the one that's going to go out there, grind at 10 o'clock at night to try and get their extra $40,000, $50,000. I got a lovely lady right now that I'm putting their house in the market at $4.6 million, and I gave her that extra $45,000 that she didn't even expect. Imagine that salesman, she would have cost him at least who knows how much. That guy would have been falling asleep if by 5:30, gone home to his kids by 7 o'clock, he would be in bed. Whilst I'm grinding at 10 o'clock. I always tell people, you've got me right now. I've got the energy. I've got the drive. I've got the time right now. Once I'm married with kids, I will not pick up your phone after 5:30. And I talk like this to my clients. A salesman without energy and enthusiasm and confidence is just another clerk behind a desk. They shouldn't be in sales. And mark my words, in the last 5 years, everybody was a real estate agent, everybody was a salesman. You look at somebody in the eye, you're like, are you a salesman? What type of fucking salesman are you? Who do you work for? If you meet a Zed agent, they'll have energy, they'll have drive, and they're sharp. They will not tell you, my knowledge stops in Doncaster.
Yeah.
No. I'm here to create wealth for you via real estate. I will advise you what's the best option for you. It's a lot more attractive than just saying I'm the salesman.
So what do you look for when you're hiring a salesman?
What do I look for? There could be a pizza delivery guy. I don't care. There could be, as long as they have enthusiasm, energy, and they got that drive, they've got a purpose, they got kids. I think kids are a great motivator in real estate or in sales because it motivates them to, give them a good life.
Yeah.
I look at human. If they're chasing money, it doesn't drive me.
So what should they chase?
Passion. What do you enjoy about real estate? That's the most important. What do you enjoy about it? I just want to be like, I had a recent interview with, somebody that reached out and she said, I've got money. I don't need to do this for the money. And I'm quite comfortable. Straight away, that's a flag.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? I've just gone through some relationship, blah, blah. I love your marketing, Zed, and I just want to be around some energy and I want to do this. And so hold on.
She wants to jump in the bandwagon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people with drive, energy, and they've gone through some hardship, not unless they want that. Not necessarily, I'm not saying that, there's some kids out there, like one of my very good friends, he's born here, he's been brought up with a hell lot of money, but he's got 10 times more drive than his dad. And he actually doesn't need to work. His dad tells him, why are you working?
Yeah.
He's a builder. He goes, it's not. You've made a name for yourself. I'm going to make a name for myself, and I want to build a tower. That's attractive, man. That's passion right there, speaking. So, yeah.
Do you do like coaching for companies and whatnot? Because one thing that frustrates me with our sales team is exactly that. The drive, the passion. Oh, shit, they're going to watch this. Cut that out. But look, you remind me of something, right? Maybe people have said this. You remind me of the Wolf of Wall Street movie, right? Jordan Belfort. You have that vibe. You also have that confidence of someone like Andrew Tate, right? Which a lot of people hate, but the confidence is solid. Have you ever been? Did anyone?
So I had a seminar with Jordan Belfort.
Yeah. Okay.
I had a seminar. I had a tour with Jordan Belfort about just before COVID, and one thing that he's really hard on: tonality, enthusiasm. Exact same thing. People are gonna hate you. They're gonna love you. Doesn't matter. As long as your intention is what counts. He went to jail for, he told me his story, blah, 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 but he learned from it.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't have done it, but he's a gun of a salesman. So if I had a house to sell, of course I would give to him. He goes, within that first 5 seconds, you pick up the phone and, you don't give good energy, good vibe, good enthusiasm, good that tonality. How many times, I get calls all the time from call callers and they read scripts.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Ali from here, and would you have 5 minutes? Why are you telling me if I have 5 minutes? No. Tell me exactly. Hi, this is Ali from Hijaz Finance. How are you? Good. The purpose of my call is you're about to make some serious money right now. You got 2 seconds. Done. Goodbye. Next. Done. Next. Pick up the phone. Dial. It's about efficiency. Like if you ask any of my staff members right now, I don't say good morning to them. Good morning from a mile away.
What do you tell them?
You got a deal for me? Yes or no? Done. I don't care about what you did over the weekend. I'm not interested what you did, if it was your engagement, if it was your whatever happened to you over the weekend. When you're at work, it's just simply pick up the phone, dial. Distraction is a big thing for salespeople because before you even know it takes them 45 minutes to have a cup of tea, coffee, and before you know it's like 12:30, you have their lunch break, and then you're looking at them like, all right, it's 12:30, what the fuck you been doing? How many people did you speak to? I made about 100 phone calls. No. How many people did you speak to? No one was home.
It's a very common
The excuses and the bullshit that you feed into your head as a salesman, and I always tell them, don't mistake movement with achievement in sales. And if you lack, for example, you told me before, you said you're a Zed, you're a lot more confident to go talk to people. No, what you lack in skill, you make it up with numbers. So if I go out there, talk to 10 people, I may be able to close 9 out of 10. And that one person, I would just let it go myself. But if you want to beat me, you have to talk to at least 100 people in order to beat me. So what you lack in skill, you make it up with numbers. And that's just a sales thing.
It's good advice.
So how was Jordan when you met him?
How is he?
Yeah.
He's pretty good. This is on public. He's pretty good on stage, off stage. Good luck.
Fair enough.
Oh, all right. Interesting.
You mentioned earlier about working with your brothers. You're in partnership with them. How is that dynamic? Family and business. Does that complicate things, or is that a trust thing that you feel like, look, the only people I can truly trust are my family. We've been through so much together. We've got each other's back. We believe in one another. Why do you choose to go with family as a business? And so many other people run away from family businesses. They look at it, that's too much trouble. It's too complicated.
I think the best thing that happened to me was the fact that I've got my brothers on my side. who else is going to trust you besides family? Correct. And we're a family business. We want more families around us, and I truly do believe that in Australia, people are so busy doing life, they don't get enough time to spend time with their loved ones. And before you know it, a year has gone past and you're like, I wish I need to spend more time with family. I need to spend, well, why don't you create an environment that everybody's together? So I get happy seeing my brother at work. I get happy seeing my brother's wife sometimes show up to work. I get happy to see my nephews there.
Yeah.
They're my nephews. So a workplace environment, a family, do I recommend it? Do I think it's good? I wouldn't do it any other way. None of us, my brothers, are money driven. His pockets, my pockets, his pocket. You know, my brother was going through some stress. I go, all right, what do you want? I'll just transfer it right now. Would that make you happy? He said, no, because they're all the same pocket, bro.
Yeah.
It's fun when, you know, you're creating something that goes just above and beyond just money. You know, it's not about money. It's about creating something that you can leave behind. Like I was just telling my nieces yesterday, niece and nephew, I go, what do you want? I'll buy anything you want. When I was 14, you're her age, niece, I go, I wish somebody asked me, what do you want? I'll give you, these kids are so spoiled nowadays. They got their iPads, iPhones and everything. I used to play cricket outside, mate.
Yeah.
You know? So today's environment is so different, but family means everything to me, man. This is family.
Then, because dad's the CEO, my brother works here, my sister works here. The issue then arises where at work, you talk about work.
At home, we still talk about
You
work.
still talk about
Yeah,
work.
we still talk. We speak the same language, but sometimes I hate it because it just goes above and beyond. Like work should be work. Yeah, they're my brothers at work. Sorry, they're workers and they're employees of Zed Real Estate at work. Yeah, two different topics. They're not my brothers. No one's a brother there. Yeah, so then the other staff don't feel like they're just these guys
part
are
of family
advantaged
business
because they're family.
yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that. No, whoever performs, good, take. Whoever doesn't perform, your comfort, bam. They all know their own roles, so it's good to know. It's good to know that they all have a different role to play at, and everybody performs differently. So, brothers are brothers, man. After work should be, you know, it's finished at work, and when you're at home in front of your parents and all that. I personally never talk work. What if I'm sitting on a dining table? It actually pisses me off because work is. That's why it says work. At work, you should be working. If you're out trying to close a deal after hours and you're in Noosa, Queensland, wherever you are, it's family time.
But there's been time, 100%, it must have happened where you and your brothers argue.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
How does that
Every
affect
week
the
we
business?
argue.
Yeah, how
Every
does
week.
it affect the business?
The business doesn't get affected.
Doesn't get affected.
Hey, what's the point of having fun? Life is a journey, yeah? Business is a journey. It's not a destination happiness if you just arrive. Without those challenges, how can you grow? You know, and I was dealing with one of my clients, and I asked him the same question. I go, there's times where I just want to like get the hell away and just move forward, and I don't want to work family. He goes, it takes a true leader to be patient. Leadership is a skill, and patience is a skill that you can work on. That was 4 years ago, and now I never promise when I'm having, you know, when I'm making love, and I never argue when I'm like in a bad mood. I just walk away, and I let time heal it.
Yeah.
Always think twice.
I'm going to come back to the sales part because I have a very big passion for sales because I'm a huge fan of Jordan Belfort, and I try to bring that culture in over here, and it just doesn't work.
If I answer this right, I'm taking those glasses off you.
I'll buy it for you, don't worry. I'll have it posted to you. But how do you motivate your sales team? How do you motivate them? Is it always about money? What's it for? Well, how do you motivate them?
Salespeople are generally driven by money.
Yeah.
I think it comes from top. They see me working and grinding till like 9, 10 o'clock every single night because you can't tell people what to do in a sales environment. You can only inspire people.
Show them how it's done.
I just do it myself. Like I grab a broomstick and I vacuum myself. Not because I want to show her a lesson. I want to teach her. I just do it myself. I'm like, fuck, if Zed's doing that, you know, I can probably do that myself. I should be doing that. And I tell my staff, I go, this is what I'm doing that's been working really good for me. If you want that, it's up to you because you can't change people. They would want to be able to do that themselves, yeah? And that's why you can only inspire people. That's why you can only aspire people. So then I always give them constant training. Every Thursday, it's non-negotiable training. I do role plays with them. I go, all right, so if you were faced with an objection, how'd you handle that? All right, practice here. You do not pick up the phone, dial, speak to a client, not unless you talk to me first. Oh, Zed, but I'm so good outside in the world, but I'm just get, so nervous in front of you. I said, I always tell them, shut the fuck up, pick up the phone, dial right now. Because then if you haven't practiced, you're going to practice on top of a client and you're dealing with someone's biggest asset that they've worked 25 years for, and the last thing you want to do is cost them money. No. Role plays, and that's why practice makes it perfect. So then when it comes to motivation, I don't think salespeople need motivation. I think they need discipline. They need that consistency. And that's why I'm so disciplined. 24 hours a day, my phone never switches off. It's being consistent. You don't need motivation in the gym. You need discipline. You need consistency. If I have donuts, most likely I'm talking about discipline. Most likely I'll probably eat it. Yeah, I love my donuts. But that tomorrow morning I go back and I run that extra, mile, whatever I can. So to answer your question, it comes from the top. The energy and enthusiasm comes from the top leader.
So coming back to the objection, how do you deal with objections?
What type of objection? Is it from a girl or a guy?
Client.
A client?
I don't think you have issues with the girls. I tell you, I don't think you have any issues there. Client, right? How do you deal with the objections there? Or do you get any objections?
I get objections all the time, and I like to learn from it. Sometimes we get no's, and I always tell my staff, I go, the more no's you get, the closer you get to a yes. And most follow-ups are done after, you close them after 6 to 10 times following up. And most salespeople, if you look at it, they give up after 1 or 2 or 3 phone calls. Oh, she's not available, he's not available. And people are busy, yeah? Especially in the finance world and all that. So if we are trying to close prospects, they have jobs, 9 to 5, they have jobs. So then the person that follows up after 6, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock is the person that gets the reward.
Yeah.
So objections, they're easy. You got to practice. Role plays and training is the best thing to overcome those objections. So
Can you say persistence is the key?
100% persistence in role plays. My team are very, very good at objection handling because we do role plays all the time. Like I have a script of a book and dialogues that I'm releasing next month to the marketplace, and every single objection that I've had from a buyer to a seller, everything's actually written down, and then I get my stuff.
Real estate,
real estate and sales. Right. Yeah.
What's it going to be called?
The ultimate sales guide. How to take your business to another level. I think that is
the ultimate
sales guide. How to sell more, how to earn more.
Ultimate sales.
It is called Sales Guide. I was just going to say it's already printed with the Sales Guide. Yeah.
Authored by you.
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Where can we buy it?
We'll be able to release it. I'm just working with the staff right now. You'll be able to get a QR code, and also Amazon. Wilkinson Publishing is the publisher. Right. So yeah, I'm still trying to get my head around it.
How much is it going to cost?
Not much. For you, it's nothing, brother.
You sure?
Huh?
We'll get a few autographed copies.
I'll get you the Burberry glasses, and you can give me the book
instead of those.
Swap.
Yeah. On the real estate side now, you're a technical expert at real estate. When you go about selling a house, let's say somebody's in the market looking to sell a property, what room of the house do you focus on? When you're walking a customer through an open house, whatever it is, where do you think customers, statistically from your perspective, get sold or zold on a house the most?
I think first impression is last impression in life. That facade, when the buyers arrive, it needs to have that good energy. The landscaping's got to be nice, and the solar lights are going to be nice. And if it's a nice, $4 million home that I'm selling, it's going to be after hours. Okay. I give them that nice shot, and then you get to see the dusk shot before the sun gets down, So that first impression, that facade is your always last impression. And then when you walk in, especially when I do the appraisal, the valuation, I go, this is the money shot. This is what I'm going to focus on. And I don't show people, I don't tell them, look at that kitchen. I go, no, I'll tell you why you should look at that kitchen. That is a Gaggenau, oven that costs you $24,000, that induction cooktop. Then you got the 2-pack joinery with the waterfall edges. That's called New York marble. They have had to wait 6 months for that. So then I upsell everything. I go, what you're standing on, that piece that you're standing on is $186 a piece. So then times it by 200 squares. Yeah. So then times it by I go, your floorboards in this house will cost you $250,000. You got 3-meter ceilings downstairs, and you've got 3-meter ceilings upstairs. And the reason why I say that is it's to justify the end value. Because most salespeople, what do? They stand at the front of the door, Mr. and Mrs. Buy. If you have any questions, let me know. Hold on. This developer, this mum and dad that you're trying to sell a house to, they've put in 20, 30 years of their life's asset in here. And the builder that they appointed when they built this house, it actually, took them extra $400,000 for these extra finishes, and if you don't justify, if you don't educate the client, they will just think like it's like every other property out there. I mean, otherwise, what's the difference between Mercedes and Toyota? They both do the job, but it's quality over quantity. So then that's how I do all the selling. That first impression, I would have to say, that should be that main focus as an investor, as a seller, as a developer, builder, whatever.
For some reason, kitchen came to my mind.
Oh, is it a kitchen master?
Kitchen master. Yeah, kitchen is the main central, obviously. That money shot. But I think that first impression needs to have that good energy.
Yeah, but you're at facade. It's spot on. Like
because that's the first thing you arrive. The driveway. I did a house in Noble Park recently, and it was on the market with another real estate agent. And I said, all right, the fence is going to get painted. Paint the fence, paint the driveway, paint the tiles. Let's get the rendering done right. It's got yellow bricks. Let's render it. It will cost you $4,300. In return, we may get extra $35,000. That's a good investment.
Mm. So you actively coach your clients through this process and say, well, you have to invest this to get this back.
100%. 100%.
That's what my dad did. He renovated the kitchen, I think for like 11 grand. And the price went up by like 60 grand. I was shocked.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
But Reza sent me something before you came. You're selling a penthouse in that building for like $23 million.
Yeah.
How's that going? Do people buy for these things?
Yeah. We received an offer on that house, on that penthouse that got rejected by the developer. And it's one of Australia's largest penthouses. And we're talking 1,185 square meters. Like a double-story penthouse that looks out through the whole Melbourne. It's not going to be an easy sell because there's nothing like that out there. I took a Singaporean buyer that flew in from Singapore just to buy a penthouse. And, she shows up with his lawyer. And this lawyer is wearing these Prada shoes and the sunnies and the white, I was going to say brick veneer teeth, these veneer teeth. And he looked unbelievable, I go, all right, we're just talking like just $16,000 for a suit to the shoes to that. I'm like, this guy's just wearing $20,000 worth of clothing. And his client rocks up with Gucci bags and the kids have got like Balenciaga shoes and blah, blah. I'm like, all right, we just found our buyer. So by the end of I would have to say 48 hours, I received an $18 million deal in my email, forwarded to developer and all that. Said, nah, $18 million, nothing for us. We want a 20 in front of it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's available.
Yeah.
Is it constructed?
Yeah, available. Yeah, it's finished.
Done?
It's just a cold shell.
Right.
The finish is going to be done by the next buyer. Because you might have
Is she out of it? Is she going to counter offer?
She's not going to go. She's out at 18.
So how much do you charge? What are your fees?
2%.
2%, $23 million.
It's a good payday.
Quick maths result. That's a good payday.
I don't negotiate, remember?
Yeah. You shouldn't. But obviously, you deal with a lot of high net worth clients. I mean, we also deal with a lot of high net worth clients, and usually they require more love, more pampering, more care. How do you go about building a relationship with high net worth customers?
High net worth customers are 10 times easier for me to deal with. Like 4 million plus is 10 times easier to deal with than people under 1 million.
Okay.
Because they know what they want. They're straight down the line. They're short of time. They've got their own businesses. They've got their own life. And they understand that you pay for what you get. Yeah. It's quality over quantity. Whereas if I was to deal with, like I'm dealing with somebody at $880,000 right now, I've worked 50 million times harder than what I would do on a $20 million deal. Yeah. So, but I love the journey. I love educating them. For me, it's about giving value back. That's what it's about. People in the millions are a lot more easy to deal with, to answer your question.
Would you agree with that?
People in their 20s.
In the high net worth customers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if there's somebody who has made that sort of money on their own and built up their own asset base and whatever it is, they understand the work and the sacrifice and commitment that goes into building that sort of asset base. And I think there's a mutual respect there towards somebody else as well. And it's like, you know what? I value the fact that people value or respect my time. I'm therefore going to, grant you the same respect. I'm going to respect your time. I think clients who maybe haven't achieved all that much, in their minds, their world and their perspective maybe sometimes a little bit limited, and therefore the way they interact and regard other people may be limited as well. So there's some clients who are maybe on the lower end who are very respectful, very good to work with, and there's some people on the upper end who are very hard to work with. Yeah. So you get a bit of both, I think.
You get a mix, yeah.
Is that the reason why you wanted luxury real estate?
Nothing changes selling an $8 million house to an $800,000 house, it's the same process. It's just the person's profile changes.
Right.
It's still the same negotiation. Well, if I say sometimes it can get complicated saying, I don't want that kitchen there. I'm like, all right, I'll rip that kitchen out. I'm going to put it over here. Are you happy with that? I'm going to rip that wall out. So there's a lot more negotiation that's involved, but it actually feels good because it challenges me. It's a lot more easier for me to answer you. It's a lot more easier for me to deal with a client that's a $4 million plus buyer than what I'll do on a $1 million under.
Do you have a minimum?
Nah, I just sold something last week for $720 in Narre Warren, where I used to sell real estate, but I never got to see the house.
Right.
I just sold it via telephone.
So you could someone in the northern suburbs.
Yeah, all
like,
the time.
Yeah, $350,000 shack, sell it for me.
Yeah, well, if you call me up, for example, say I've got an investment property, what do I do? I'll just sell it for you. At least you get that transparency. It doesn't matter. I'm a salesman. We market ourselves as luxury boutique real estate agency, but I'm not going to say no to money.
But that doesn't scare people and be like, I'm not going to bother.
People don't even call me at less than $2 million now.
Right.
They're like, if you've got a big house and if you've got a custom home that you've used extra features and the specification of that house, give Zed a call.
Yeah.
That's who we are.
Right. So you've built your brand like that.
Yeah.
So which is smart. But one thing, because I have a few real estate friends, and there's one thing that they mention a lot. They might say it in a joking way, but I think it does happen, where real estate agents tend to add a bit of fluff, a bit of lie into their sale.
Yeah.
Where they might be like, all right, this curtain costs $15,000, but in fact it'll cost like $5,000. Right. Yeah. Is that something that's prominent in the industry?
I don't think you should be lying because that kills your credibility.
And how do you ensure your staff don't lie as well?
Whatever comes out of their mouth, I can only do the training,
Yeah.
I can only do the training, but I don't think they lie. I think it's good to know product knowledge and people take it seriously. And I always like to talk 80% positive and then 20% negative about any product that I'm selling. Because nobody's perfect, no house is perfect, nothing's ever perfect. But I don't exaggerate on things. If I know that that's how much a melee costs, I know that that's a custom built melee to fit in that specific joinery in that house. Like I'm selling one in Armadale right now. That took them 6 months to even get that oven. That's the honest truth. No. So because I think I do the qualification first prior to even pitching it to the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Just be honest, be transparent. And if you bullshit, people will pick up on it. You may think that people aren't educated, but they're 10 times more educated because they don't like to make a comment. Just, you don't need to over-exaggerate. You know that saying, fake it till you make it? I think it's the biggest bullshit ever because you're living in a lie. Yeah? Just be transparent. Be authentic. The house is only worth for what the market's going to pay for. You hire a salesman to negotiate and market and bring in as many clients as they can and make you more money because you don't have the same skill set. We're not like I go to most people. What's the marketplace doing right now? The exact same thing what it's been doing for the last 20 years. You buy a land in Afghanistan in 5 years' time, we're worth at least $5,000 more. I'm talking with Taliban included. Land is where the money's at. Yeah. So money's in the land. Yeah. And if your intention is did you build Hijaz in 2 years? No. Yeah, no. You don't start a business thinking you're going to make money tomorrow. Same thing as real estate market. You don't invest money thinking you're going to make money next year or the year after. It's a 7 to 10 year long investment. And if you've got that strategy, let's do it. If not, well, go buy yourself a lottery. Yeah. And even then they don't even buy it thinking that they're going to make money.
So are we getting like a Zed
talk right reality? Now? You just got zold.
You got
zold the minute I walked in.
We got the Zed talk. Are we getting like a Zed reality show? What's going on?
Yeah, it's already filmed. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it's filmed. Yeah, I can't release too much more info on it. It's filmed with Warner Brothers, a big production company. So next year is going to be a very big year, which is why we're going into Gold Coast, because Gold Coast real estate market's on steroids right now, and some of the houses over there on the waterfront homes, it looks very nice and posh. Yeah. So we want to be able to showcase that as well. A bit of mix of New York and mix of Miami, but in Australia.
So this is your version of what Lux Listings in Sydney is that?
Lux Listings is more about other agents.
Okay.
Whereas this is
purely about yourself.
Yeah, this is like more selling Sunset. It's the same. It's the same producers.
Okay.
Yeah. So Warner Brothers. Yeah. Sorry?
Those
are the things that I can't disclose. Okay. I don't know yet, but I can't disclose too much because I've signed an NDA.
Okay.
Fair enough. I've got one last real estate related question. And I've always wondered this from real estate perspective. Do you prefer properties to be privately sold or go to auction? Where do you feel that you can really sort of weave your magic in there?
Look, I love doing auctions personally myself because I think I'm the funniest auctioneer there is out there. I take all the pressure off the shoulders. People think, I don't think I'm a good auctioneer myself, but I'm a good public speaker. I take all their, stress off their shoulders. It depends on a specific property. I think if it's a development site, okay, 100%. You make all the buyers, investors, and developers, builders fight for it. Those type of development sites has to be auctioned. And then you've got these luxury listings. I think private sale is the best way because you don't want every Tom and Dick and Harry walking into your house. And I don't even do open houses for these type of homes. It's purely just qualifying the client, especially in today's marketplace. I always ask them 5 questions. Have you got your finances organized? And how long have you been looking for? And if this is something that you're after right now, tell me exactly what you've fallen in love with so then I can show you something similar so it doesn't waste my time, your time, the vendor's time. So depends on that specific property. That's when you go out there. I can't really say that one should be auctioned, that one shouldn't be auctioned, But mainly I auction land developments because there's more buyers out there that has their pre-approvals on and all that. But anything over 2 million, I don't do open. I don't let the neighbors walk in. And that's why we're a prestige, we're a boutique like that, and the marketplace has embraced us because let's just say if I was to sell your house, it's just taken you 16 months to build this house. Why would you want your neighbor coming in? Why don't you, Zed, you're my agent, ask the question, does he have 2 million? Yes or no?
Yeah.
All right. Is he after a similar floor plan to this? Yes or no? Done. Let's bring him in. Otherwise, that's why the local estate agents, what they tell you is like, go out there, bring in every Tom and Dick and Harry to my house. There's 50 people on a day of the auction, only 2 people buying, only 2 people bidding. All right. Because that's why they're called locals, because those locals, there's only limited stock available. So then you want to get to know every single neighbor. We just sold that one over there above reserve and they've underquoted the property to start off with anyways. Yeah. What did you want to sell? Because we've got more buyers out here in the area. That whole real estate concept is dead.
So it benefits the real estate agent more than actually benefits the vendor.
The real estate agents have been benefiting themselves from day one. That's what they've been doing. And I'm not afraid to say that live. They always put themselves first and they just chase money. When they get desperate, when the marketplace gets tough, well, guess what? They condition you down like a champion. The last 6 houses I've sold in the last 12 days, this month so far, have all been stock that's been with other estate agents. Because they've just been treated like numbers. They don't know how to close because they were so used to a good market. Hi, did you want to buy this house? No, thank you very much. No. Why didn't you want to buy this house? Let me show you something else. Can I tell you that you can literally just get rid of that bathroom in there? You know what? The bathroom is my complimentary gift to yourself. Bam. Can you pay extra $10,000? I have this bathroom done before you move in. Next.
Bathroom filled with mustard.
Yeah.
You're feeling a lot of mustard right now?
Hey, look, Zed, on that note, we're going to start wrapping things up. And before we wrap things up, I ask 10 out of inches questions, which is 10 rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And short answers. Well, it depends, and you could have a long answer, up to you. You could decide on how quick you want to answer it and go home. So I'm going to start off.
Sure.
If you're ready. Which is more efficient or powerful, a call or an email to a buyer?
What's our email or what?
Or a call.
Call.
All right. Jordan Belfort or Grant Cardone?
Grant Cardone.
Why?
I thought I didn't have to give an answer.
To rapid fire.
I'm intrigued for that one. Favorite movie?
I would have to say Step Brothers. I like a bit of comedy.
Solid. Favorite food?
Afghan food, man. We got everything.
Anything in particular?
Carbs, rice and bread. Without rice and bread, I can't survive.
Exactly.
Most expensive house you have sold?
This is a good one. 19.8, 26 million, 27 million. Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. Zold, sorry.
Which suburb has the best luxury homes?
I like the Bay. I would have to say Brighton. Mm-hmm. I don't like Toorak. Not because I don't like Toorak, but I feel like your backyard should be more like Paradise Island, and you feel so happy when you see the bay. So I would have to say anywhere Brighton above Bayside. It could be Mornington, it could be Mount Eliza, Mount Martha, anywhere in the bay, looking at the views and to water and seeing the sunset to sunrise. It's a different feeling. I don't want to look at apartments.
Yeah.
Or more houses.
Favorite superhero?
Superman.
Superman. What is your deepest fear?
Deepest fear? I would have to say God. Allah, yeah.
That's it. good response.
Sunny person, yeah.
You're the
I
first
respond.
person to say that on the podcast. It's usually, what is it usually?
My wife.
I think Muzza said my wife. So,
I
you
said
said
snakes.
snake. You
I'm
said
in front of snakes.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Most famous person you have met.
Most famous person. Oh, I was hanging out with Brian Lara recently.
No
I'll
way.
just say, yeah, good cricketer. You know, we had some fun. We talked recently. Shane Warne. I followed Eric Banner's car.
Okay.
This is so funny. I was turning at the lights. I was meant to turn right, and then there's a Porsche that showed up right next to me. All right, so he was turning left. I looked to my left. I know you should never check out who's right next to me, but I looked. I'm like, shit, that's Eric Banner. You know, I better follow his car because most likely I'm going to sell him real estate. Yeah. So I actually turned left like a full stalker. I'm going on Beach Road, and I kept following him, and then it looked like wherever he was turning, he realized that I was like stalking this guy. I'll leave him alone. So Eric Banner's in Brighton. I can't say which street because I'll get in trouble. So yeah, I was just following this guy, man.
Were you following me in your Lambo?
Yeah, of course.
Hey,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be scared for that.
Huh?
I wouldn't mind a Lambo.
I don't know.
stalking.
A brown guy following a Rambo.
Why is he telling me? Yeah.
Last question. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
Surround yourself with the right people. Have a better crowd. And if I was 18, I'll be hanging out with people that are much older than me, so then they don't have to make the same mistakes as what they would do when they were 18.
Mm-hmm.
That circle of your group and your friends and family is so important to have people that will empower them, inspire them, and encourage them. They need more encouragement nowadays than any other time out there, because everybody's exposed on socials and all that. If they've got an idea, support them. So do you need those positive people around you? And if I just wish I had that, that circle of friends. I mean, I hang out with old people all the time because they've got more life ahead of me. So why would I want to make the same mistakes as, like, I'm 32 now. One of my best mates, 57. Why would I want to make the same mistakes as what he did when he was 32? So then they've got more life ahead of me.
Yeah.
So if you're 18, 20, surround yourself with older people that's been through your path.
That's solid advice. I say that to everyone as well. Surround yourself with good people.
Yeah.
Your friends have a lot of impact on you.
1,000,000%.
So, yeah, on that note, we'll end it here. It's past 5. I think we already had another podcast today. I see Reza getting sleepy. But we'll call it a day. And look, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you,
been
Ali.
very insightful. Like, in terms of sales, it's been very insightful. I think,
Yeah.
Mazda, we should have like a company-wide viewing for this one.
Yeah.
People learn some sales from...
I did
Zed
swear a
Nasheet.
little bit, so go for it. Good luck.
But yeah, look, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
I finally got a
Pleasure.
hold of you, so here you are. So
I appreciate it.
it,
Thank
buddy.
you. Maybe
And,
next time if you want to try and get a hold of me, just say I've got a house to sell. Bam.
That's it.
All
Try
right.
I'm gonna
that.
call straight back.
Thank you, Mazza. Thank you, Reza. Thank you, Ali.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.